Stream on. Oh, wait. This is the Simpit. I'm your host, Shaun Cole, but the real star of today's show is you, the pit crew, because we are here for the beginning of 2020. Happy New Year to everybody out there, and welcome to today's edition of the Pitstop. And I know I thanked you all at the end of 2019, and now I'm going to push you all and thank you all for 2020. I'm going to push you to be the best. I'm not big on New Year's resolutions, but 2020 is going to be a really, really big year in sim racing. On the eSport level, granted, sure, it's going to be huge for those at that level. For us on a lower level, we're going to see an explosion of even more high-end gear than we've ever seen before. The pattern, the writing on the wall for 2020 is high-end sim racing. The days, and I praised the G25. The Logitech G25 revolutionized sim racing. But at this point, with the differences from the G25 to the 27 to the 29, even a wheel of that level, I for so long have said, give a pro any gear and they're going to win race. And I think that'll still hold true. I don't think we're going to find the G series being obsolete, but there has been such an explosion of high-end gear. The direct drive market has exploded. The high-end rigs costing well over $1,000 has become quite normal. High-end button boxes, carbon fiber being integrated into just about every component. So if you compare our hobby to cycling or other hobbies, we're at that tech level moment in sim racing. So for 2020, gear up, and I mean that in many ways. I mean gear up. It's going to be a heck of a year. It's going to be maybe the most competitive year in sim racing across the board. Led, of course, by the eSport, but anybody who's gotten out there in their local, whatever series or league, chances are you have seen an increase in the level of competition and the amount of people in sim racing. It is really 2019. I might have to say, if I was going to say what is the most significant thing about 2019 for sim racing, I really feel this. It's the growth. It's the growth curve that we saw. eSport was a big part of that, getting exposure to sim racing to the masses. The amount of real-life teams and drivers who are participating has given sim racing a new level of legitimacy. We used to ride the coattails of Dale Earnhardt Jr. as maybe the most important real-life racer who praised sim racing, and he couldn't do it alone. It was really hard for him to really express to the world what we were doing and how awesome it was. But now when you're talking about Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, Carlos Sainz, the list goes on. That's just the Formula One guys. If we go to NASCAR, it's even more of them are sim racers than ever before. So all of this has led to, and I don't care what your sim is, if you look at the numbers for sim, Doug Hawley, buddy, thank you so much. A super chat donation by Doug Hawley. Happy New Year to you, buddy. Miss you here in California, by the way. But yeah, it's just, I think this year, because of the masses coming in, because of the masses seeing some of these superstars using super duper high-end gear, I think you're going to really see a lot more than ever before. New subscriber, Ederoski. Thank you, Edros. Let me say this right. Ederoski. There we go. I think that's how it is. VR is a fad. Flight is, So I don't mind taking a diversion here. We'll get to the show. But over the holidays, there are a few things that I did. So during the holidays, I pretty much shut down the Simpit. I just, it was nice to get a sim experience unleashing cool stuff for 2020. So says Darren Ganji. Darren Ganji, a lot of us, I don't have anything here about it, but a lot of us saw you on that Twin Turbos. What's that show called? Saw your cameo there delivering a sim experience. So a lot of people saw you on television. You're a superstar. But getting back to what I was saying, I shut down the show through the holidays just to take a little bit of a break. But we did our holiday racing series. So if we were to bring up this graphic here, we did our racing holiday series. These are the 4 races we did near Christmas. We did another 4 races towards New Year. And then on New Year's Eve, we did our racing frenzy of 3 different races. So I did a lot of driving over the holidays, but it was all just in the name of fun. And I totally enjoyed doing that. I also played a lot of Grand Theft Auto with my buddies, playing some heist missions and played some solo as well. And then the last thing that I wanted to get to, getting back to your VR as a fad flight is I also fired up VR. And I didn't do any sim racing. And it's ironic that I didn't do any sim racing because I do believe that sim racing and flight sims are hands down the best experiences that you're going to get in VR. But with that said, I kind of want to just go back to VR games again. And I'm just going to tell you, I don't think VR is a fad. But if there's one thing that could make VR a fad, it is truly the lack of software. The lack of true support being thrown at the VR. And there's only a handful of games. Eric talks about motion sickness. You know, that's the programming. Because I play some games that give me no nausea whatsoever, and I play others that do. And until they can eliminate that problem, it is vulnerable to being a fad. Big shout out to Doug from Tom Jones. Before we get to the show, I'm almost done with my ranting and raving or conversation. Oh, the other thing I did over the holidays was a lot of work on our Porsche 924, our Lemons car. We worked on that a few days over the holidays as well. We are just 1 or 2 days away from firing that car up and being able to drive it around. I'm not sure if we're going to make the first intended race. Our goal is to complete the car, drive it out to a track and give it a full shakedown day and break it, essentially if it's going to break under practice before we enter the race. So if we can't get it ready by the first race that we have on our calendar, which I'm not sure when it is, then we're going to back off and miss the first race. But we're getting close. We're getting very, very close. I really hope that VR is not a fad. I really, really do. Happy New Year, Billy Strange. If anybody late to the show, Happy New Year to everybody out there. Thank you for being here for today's pit stop, kicking off 2020. And we're going to get to the news here in just a moment. In fact, I see you guys all talking about VR. That's awesome. Let's get on to the show. What's going on today? So in the world of sim racing, and you'd think with how long we've been off the air. We've been off the air a couple of weeks as far as pit stops go. Maybe a couple weeks, a little over 2 weeks. You'd think there'd be a lot of news. But the reason that I didn't do shows during the holidays is because there was zero news to report for the most part. Everybody shut down. I mean, even today when I looked at stories like iRacing, for some places, their last post was December 19th. And they still haven't come to life for the new year. Today is sort of the beginning of the official. Everyone should be back to work by today. So I expect that by Wednesday even we will see a kick up. Maybe even today. But us being the early bird, getting out there scoping the news at 7 a.m., we might be before they all got their cups of coffee at work and got things going on. So what is going on? Assetto Corsa Competitzione is on sale. So all the Black Friday sales are over. All the holiday sales are over. And if you didn't buy something that you wanted during that time, chances of finding it on sale today or over the next short period of time, probably slim to none. But Assetto Corsa Competitzione is 35% off. Corsa mentions Automobilista 2. Remind me at the end. Let's go double check. For some reason, and I got to write myself a note on this one. Do I have a pen? I should have a pen. For some reason, that is not coming up on my radar. And I don't know why. Let's find a pen. I don't want to forget that. Sorry for the interruption. I don't have a pen here either. I gotta remember to update some of my tabs for the show. Hey, Eric Smith. Simbank. We loan you money for high-end gear. All right, anyway, Assetto Corsa Competitzione is on sale, 35% off. What else? Dirt Rally 2.0. Trial version is free. This was just posted by them today. Unfortunately, I only saw free versions for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I don't have any Simpit pens. I should write that down as well. That would be another fun giveaway. We definitely need to do that. It's just my desk. It's the sheet. The only reason I have this sheet on here, to be honest with you, is because this desk is a glossy black, and it causes a lot of interference with the green screen. Oh, that's what I didn't tell you. Yeah, I told everyone on Twitch. I didn't tell you guys on YouTube. The Simpit is officially ordered and is on the way. A 3D printer, a pretty good 3D printer, decent printer. And we're going to start doing some projects. If anybody who followed our LED project, which is still in the works, we're making an enclosure for it with a 3D printer. That's kind of was the inspiration. But now that we have a 3D printer on the way, and the other thing I'll tell you guys about, I know today's show is all over, but another thing for 2020 is we're going to be all over a lot of DIY projects. That's going to be a big focus of change. Getting back to doing DIYs and having fun doing them live on Twitch, and then probably the more edited version on YouTube moving forward in the future. So, yeah, we're going to have all sorts of Simpitted logo things. If there's anything you want, just let me know. What else? Grid talking about their, and this is a big deal. A lot of people have been asking me about the Daytona 24 coming up. But there is some Roar 24 and IMSA DLC. So both official IMSA classes are available in Grid and playable on any circuit. So you have all the cars. That'll be nice being able to get in some of the cars. You know, you're going to watch that Daytona 24. You're probably going to become fans of certain cars and want to experience what those cars are like. And you're going to actually be able to do that in Grid, which is kind of cool. So, what else? Codies. I like telling you guys about jobs. I have a good buddy of mine who's actually switching jobs right now. I wish he was had a sim racing resume. I'd point him in this direction. But looking to get into a new career for 2020, how about Codemasters? We're recruiting. No doubt, Codemasters just growing at such a huge rate. This week's featured job is for recruitment coordinator based in our Runcorn, Cheshire office. You can click on the link via their Twitter page, and that would take you here to all of the positions that they are hiring. So again, if you want to live in the UK, you are qualified for that. You might want to. I'd work for them for sure. Tom Jones, could I print a 240Z? I suppose if I had the time, the money, and the skills, I could, because I've seen a lot of 3D printed cars even at this point. When I was talking about 3D printing a steering wheel, everyone was like, it'll break, don't bother. So I can't imagine that you could print a steering wheel. But yeah, Michael Clark, you could print a house for $4,000. Now that, I should print the Simpit Studios. Wouldn't that be a coup? So, oh, awesome, Eric Smith. That's great to hear that you use. Yeah, the Simpit decals, the Simpit logos are available in iRacing. If you're, they've been there for a long time, but if you didn't know, you can actually have Simpit logos on your iRacing cars. So, what else from Codies? Nothing else. I guess if you have the humble choice, in January, you're able to pick up Dirt Rally 2.0 as part of their maximum of 9 games to keep forever. Don't know what the cost on Humble Choice is, but if you have Humble Choice, apparently you do get copies of games, and you get to keep them forever in some cases. 9 in January, I guess. Dirt Rally 2.0. So there's your PC version of Dirt Rally 2.0 for better than a trial. Yeah, you need a metal 3D printer. That's a whole different department right there. Can you Yes, Sim Contender. Literally, you can. I saw an article, I don't know if I could find it again, of a completely 100% 3D printable 3D printer that would be operated by a cell phone. I can't remember where I saw it, but yes, in theory, I could print a 3D printer, but it would take a lot of time and work, so I don't think I can do it. Sorry. However, there are places that will print whatever you have. If you have the drawings, they'll print it for you, but it would probably be cheaper to just buy a 3D. They're not expensive. I did look into 3D printers, and if you just want to dabble and have some fun and make an enclosure for a button box or something, you can get a decent printer for $200, it seemed. $300, you can get a pretty okay one. I spent about $550, truth be told, and got one that has a extra large platformer or format for a home one. So it'll print 350 by 350 by 400 millimeter, which is really sizable if you look into the base, level printers, the sub $1,000 printers, let's just say. But it can't do any fancy materials. It can do the PLA carbon fiber, but that's not very strong. I mean, it's not carbon fiber. It is carbon fiber, but it's not carbon fiber. Anyway, what's else? We already talked about the jobs. Oh, more jobs. I mean, excuse me. When I was talking at the beginning, or ranting, whatever you want to call it, about the growth of sim racing, you want more proof? Look at the amount of jobs for Codemasters, with them acquiring Slightly Mad Studios, with them being in the game on Grid, Dirt, and F1. That's 3 major titles that they're producing. Tons of jobs. Reiza Studios is also looking for people. There's a link on there. Reiza Studios. Hey, wait, this would be where I'd see Automobilista 2 information. There is this link here. Our final development update of 2019 is finally live, and it's a big one. Did we not cover this? We wouldn't have. It happened the last day of the year. And this is the dev update for Reiza, which I'm just now seeing for the first time, by the way. Marquise Goodman asks, and I want everybody to chime in, anybody who has experience in these ways. He has a set of Club Sport V3s. Are the Husingveld Ultimates worth the price upgrade value? The way you phrased the question, Marquise, my answer is no. And the reason I say it is because the way you phrased it is, are they worth the price of the upgrade? No, I don't feel that they are. I think the Club Sport V3 pedals, if working properly, are an excellent set of pedals. The upgrade is nominal. The performance difference is nominal compared to the money. However, there is no arguing the quality and the awesomeness of Husingveld pedals. So if it's a matter of appreciation more than wanting the bang for buck, then absolutely it's a worthy upgrade. NASCAR Fan 24 asked about Kyle Busch and whether we think he'll do well at Daytona 24. I don't know, but you know who I care more about? I care more about the Simpit racing team and how we're going to do in the Daytona 24. I don't care about Kyle Busch. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding with you. I hope so. I wonder about the temperament, but every time a real-life driver makes an appearance into Daytona-type circumstances, they tend to do very well. So I think he'll do very well. I think, yeah, Haley Deegan being there is an interesting story as well. The Simpit's hiring, but females only. Females only apply. Darren made that exact upgrade. There you go. Darren Ganji made the same upgrade. Went from Club Sport V3s to Husingveld's Marquise. And, yep, they're awesome. They're awesome. No denying that. We should all bow and praise to them. What else? Simpit Racing Team. Look, I've got the Simpit Racing Team shirt on. I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to the 24. This is our redemption race. For me, I have to confess, the Corvette Daytona prototype is one of my absolute favorite cars in all of iRacing, despite its bugs, and it does have bugs. So I'm just looking forward to running that car. It's fun to drive. I did some practice in it yesterday, and it fit like a glove. It was like, I got in that car, and I'm like, oh, yes, I remember this car. I remember the way this car drives and handles. Where would a person buy a Simpit Racing Team t-shirt, Shaun? David Payne, somewhere I have a Cafe Press store that to be honest with you, I only use the store for personal use. Like, I haven't really been promoting it. And some of it isn't even proper. Like, it was just like, oh, I need this shirt, and I'd put it on there just to make it, and I don't even know if it's the right one. I've been happy with some of the stuff I've purchased from them, and I've been not happy with others. But I think that if you went to Cafe Press and looked up Simpit there, you'd find it. But maybe double check, because I know the sweatshirt that I made had a graphical error, some dots across the bottom. I wasn't happy with it, and I haven't fixed it. That's why I'm not promoting it. This shirt in particular, this one checked out. I bought this. I love this shirt. I got it in gray. I got it in black. I love it every which way. So if you really, really want to, and you can't find it, you can email me, Shaun, SHAUN, thesimpit.com, and I will definitely steer you in the right direction. All right, back to Automobilista 2. Many of you already be in 2020 by the time you see this. Here we are. What do you know? We are still at it, the very last hours of 2019 in order to meet our AMS2 milestones of the year. It hasn't been much of a holiday break so far. This is at the 31st. Hey, thank you very much, Tim with the link. Let me double check that. I do need a Streamlabs store. I think that should be... Where's that? Do I have to get up and get a pen? Here's the Cafe Press store. Or at least the Simpit shirt. What if I go to t-shirts? That takes us out of there, right? Yeah, I thought so. Okay, how do I see other collections from the Simpit? Oh, there we are. So whatever you do, if you do, look, this shirt's even on there. Like I said, oh, I guess I took it down. That was the Cold Trickle shirt. It's not, oh, it's just showing t-shirts. I need to do some work on the Simpit store. I would not advise ordering anything, but that's something I need to work on better. I apologize. Anyway, thank you, Tim. Thank you for that. What else from Automobilista? On the mission at hand. Endurance Brazil, what a series. What else? Audio development work is being done. Art development work being done. Car livery updates, Mount Panorama, and their hiring. We already talked about the hiring as well. All right, there you go. Automobilista and their hiring. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm kind of tuning in and out, catching up with the chat and thinking about our racing efforts. And now you guys got me thinking about the Cafe Press store. Let's see here. Simucube also hiring. Where did I see that one? What's the best way to guarantee the best possible Simucube experience in the years to come? Answer: by helping the Simucube developer team to hire the sharpest people to develop Simucube. Well, here you are. Granite Devices, the people behind a lot of the Simucube software, are hiring a embedded software developer, a software engineer, motor control developer, pre-sales engineer, and a digital marketing specialist. So if you are looking, digital marketing specialist, closing next in 3 days and 18 hours is their hiring window, I guess, for that one. It comes discreetly packaged. Grunnel, I agree. The Skippy is a great trainer car. You learn to drive that and you can pretty much master any cars out there. All right, so there you go. Now check this out. Sim Magic Dynamic. Home bundles, direct drive wheelbase, steering wheels, support shop. Introducing the Alpha, the ultimate professional direct drive racing simulator. Our most compact and advanced force feedback simulator. Something lost in translation. Our most compact and advanced force feedback simulator solution ever. Alpha. Learn more on Alpha. Pricing starting at $1,200. M10 direct drive wheelbase. First ever consumer grade DDW. Born with proud. Born with proud. Born with proud. Yes. M10, our first DW, born with proud, starting at, and this is the amazing thing here. So starting at $699, which I absolutely love my Accuforce wheel. I had this conversation just the other day. If I were to give you a nutshell review, my comparison review, and I am doing a shootout coming up with a little more detailed information. If you were to take a Simucube, an OSW, which is essentially a Simucube, a Leo Bodner, and you were to even take a Fanatic Podium and put them all on a rigs and blindfold me and have me drive it, I am not sure that I would be able to tell the difference between any of those wheels. And I'm going to know for a fact if that's true or not. I'm going on my thoughts of driving over the years. If you were to put my Accuforce on, I would know instantly that's my Accuforce. So that is one thing for me when it comes to the wheels, how I feel about my Accuforce. But with that said, $699 is their Accuforce knockoff. And again, when I'm pretty sure, so I joked and I laughed, born with proud. I'm pretty sure this is a Chinese company. That would be my guess when I say lost in translation. Some of their statements do not sound like English is their first language, so I'm gonna take a leap that these are a Simpit shirt, born with proud. Oh, that's classic. That'd be damn funny. Anyway, but $699 is a pretty affordable price, and my point here when I talk about the explosion of gear for the next year. So the Alpha, their $1,200 one, 15 Newton meters. M10 can produce up to 10 Newton meters. I believe where we're at, and this is an important moment to realize. RM Stigger fan now following us on Twitch. Thank you very much. We are now to the point that we're at Chinese knockoffs of our high-end gear. And that is a beautiful thing for some, and it doesn't even matter to others. For me personally, once I get into high-end gear, I have to be honest, I'm not looking for $100 savings on a Chinese knockoff. I want the real deal one way or another. Otherwise, I'll stay with the stuff that I know is made in China, like a typical over-the-counter wheel, so to speak, a Club Sport, a T500, a G29. I know those are all made in China. I'm okay with that at those price points. We get into direct drive wheel, I think I want a little more. That's me personally. But my point here, it's really, really awesome that it exists, because this is the moment that starts to push the other companies to react. When Fanatic thinks $1,600 is acceptable for a direct drive wheelbase, this is going to make them react. If this company has success, then companies like Fanatic, who I love the podium wheel. I have nothing negative to say about the podium wheel. However, I do feel it's very expensive. I'd like to see a price drop, and Chinese knockoffs is what's going to push things in that direction for sure. Yeah, what isn't made in China is only built from parts that were made in China to begin with. Very, very funny, Joa, but true. Very funny, but true. Yeah, and software. I mean, and when I was talking about why I would know my Xperience wheel instantly, it's the software. There are effects that wheel produces that I just love. And every time I go play at CXC and I'm back, they use Bodner wheels at CXC. Every time I go back there and I try them, and I have a Bodner sitting right up there on the shelf. Every time I do it, I'm like, yeah, this wheel feels great. It does all the things that I demand of a direct drive wheel. Massive power, rigidity, no lag, no play, super high fidelity. It hits all of those marks. But when it comes to my Xperience, Accuforce, I get these subtle details while driving the car that make it feel alive, make it feel real. Anyway, okay. Sorry, I just it's taken me years to grow the balls to make these statements. And like I said, this is all leading up to me eventually doing a shootout between the direct drive wheels, and it's not so much the power for me. I always thought it was the big deal was the Newton meters, and now I've really come away from that. So, more on that to come. Maybe many of you saw the behind-the-scenes video already with Carlos Saints. His sim install. Do I have to disclaim that? I never say that poor kid's name right. But anyway, he had a simulator installed into his home. They did a whole video on this via Auto Sport. And I'm not going to play it because I'm sure this is the kind of video that would get us in big, big trouble. But yeah, if you want to see him, and this is another, we now have 3 current Formula One drivers that are avid sim racers from home, going home on Sunday from a real life Formula race and jumping into their sims for fun, or practice or whatever. Tim, I'm assuming that eventually it will. Who knows? But those have been the milestones that have caused problems with compatibility. So when they go next gen PlayStation, it's hard to see or say. Yeah, today's been a lot of BS, and I'm not sure. I think it's just because it's the new year. Did I lose it? I know I've let a few bombs drop during racing, but I kind of feel like that's one moment I maybe get an exemption. But if I just did drop an S-bomb, I might have to drop and give you 10. I don't know. Can someone verify that I did? Eric, and that's where I was talking about you know what? The pros in iRacing could win races on a T150. And don't let this new tech age make you feel any different than that. You know, at some point, if you have the budget, you're going to have to, you may do it. But I don't think that we're at a point that you have to hurry. It's about enjoyment. You know, the first reason we're here in sim racing is purely about enjoyment. There's only a small handful of us who can really take that competitive level to the highest, and we all are competitors. That's why we do it. His dad is running the new Dakar. I hear Alonso got stuck in the Dakar. I think I have a story regarding him being there, but I read another story later that said that he actually got stuck. So, all right, what else, you guys? Like I said, Black Friday is over. Christmas deals are over, and we are actually 168. I don't think we're going to cover this every day. 168 days until the next Steam sale, the summer sale. So, I guess start saving. It's going to be a while. I wouldn't hold out. Zwift. If you guys know Zwift, I do follow Zwift a little bit because I'm into cycling. Tour de France, they're starting to talk about that already, coming up in July. Anyway, they're talking about two of the big heads of state there. Kristen, who is a U.S. women's cyclist, all-time best time trialist in sports history, 3-time Olympic gold medalist, now participating in doing Zwift events. And then Danny Rowe, who is a world record holder for the 3K team pursuit. Retired from pro cycling, and she's now spending her time with sponsors, making appearances, and now getting into the Zwift studio. So it would be, they're calling it a power up workout series. Anyway, the reason I do bring it up because I love cycling. I also bring it up because truly, this is the most hardcore real sim there is. You're really riding a bike. If you can't turn those pedals, if you can't push up a hill, then you can't win this game. And that makes you really got to think about what we're doing. I love the one-to-one that sim racing has always offered. Yes, we're using wheels. Yes, we're using pedals. Yes, we're adapting to the physics of the car, reacting to the track. That is what real-life racers do. It is what we are doing one-to-one. However, these guys are pushing up the hill. I dare say that's more real than we are. They even, and this is a whole other article telling you how rider weight affects Zwift on speed. Well, you know what? If you're climbing hills, advantage to the little guy. No doubt about it. When it comes to climbing mountains on a bicycle, the lighter you are, the less weight you are pushing up the hill. Leverage is a little bit of a factor on a bicycle, but not nearly as much as just horsepower to weight. So rider weight is even taking effect. Now, in sprinting, theoretically, the bigger guys have a slight advantage in sprinting. Now, little guys, I was actually a really strong sprinter in my cycling days, but I'm kind of like a big guy in a little guy body when it comes to cycling. If you saw my calves, you'd know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of a big guy squeezed into a little body. So I was actually a really good sprinter. But for the most part, sprinting is a big guy's game. That is also taken into effect in what I'm going to call the ultimate sim. I think they got us beat, you guys. I really do. I think that is more sim than sim racing. It really is. All right, we better move things along. It's 9:36. I've been blah, 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 blabbing away all day long. Happy New Year to everybody out there. Happy 2020. It's so nice to be back in this seat. It's so nice to be back hanging out with my friends, talking sim racing, just getting psyched for 2020, to be honest with you. A lot of really good things coming in. The bike pit. All right, what else? I have a little bit of Popeye calf going on, I have to admit. If you knew me, I started playing soccer at the age of 5 and played it till the age of 32. I wrestled from the age of 14 to the age of 16. I raced bicycles from the age of 16 to the age of 32. All of those things are kind of heavy on the calves, if you think about it. So yeah, my calves are. If you were to like give me a yokitude, I would put my calves as my strongest feature. All right, Popeye chicken sandwich calves. Well played, Corsa. Edgar, yes, we are all back to work today. This is the very, very beginning. It's really good to be here, hanging out. All right, so VG Charts has a best racing game of 2019 article. I'm going to blow through these so we can laugh, snort, whatever it's going to make you feel. All right, short list. Dirt Rally 2.0, Crash Team Racing, Team Sonic Racing, Grid, but the winner to them, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. Idiots. I guess they did call it racing game. They didn't call it sim. They didn't put Gran Turismo. They were talking about that none of those came out this year. Tom Jones, his best muscle is his butt. Yeah, 32 sim contender. 32 is about when my competitive sports kind of came to an end. John Shields, funny you say that because at 50. I'm all calves and a little head and big calves. I've been really giving a lot of thought to getting back into, like, because at 50, you kind of enter that master's age in competitive sports, no matter what your sport is. At 50, you kind of are like that, oh, look, I'm a rookie again, So I've been giving a little bit of thought of maybe getting back into cycling racing. Right now is when I need to start getting onto the bike. Like, we're coming off of the coldest part of winter. We still have bad weather, but the colder part of winter is already over here. So now it's time to start training. No, I'd like to do like a criterium race this year, something kind of flat, short circuit, multiple laps. Sim contender. Yeah, soccer might be out. By 32, if you start at the age of 5, excuse me, not sounding very cycling. Getting off of a cold here. Yeah, I haven't peaked yet. Soccer might be out, though. Because when I stopped playing soccer at 32, we're talking so many rolled over ankles that when I stopped playing, like, even walking was a little difficult for a couple of years until I got the strength back. But, if I step off a step wrong, my rollover strength on my ankles is really poor. I hate to say it, but I think it would be a big mistake for me to go back to soccer. I really miss playing. It is one of my favorite things in all of my life to do, but I don't know if the ankles can do it. Everything else is still good to go. I mean, honestly, everything else still feels quite strong for me, I have to say. And my fitness is even still pretty decent. But I definitely don't know if I could run and do soccer. I could do a different running thing. I just can't. Soccer might not happen ever again. Sad to say. But yeah, but even with wrapped, if you have weak ankles, it's really hard to wrap for the rollover. I mean, even think about any sport. That's a career ender for football blockers. Yeah, well, so yeah, soccer's brutal. 46 and strongest you've ever been. They always say like 46 is the new 36, and it's, I think, more true than ever. Because if you've stayed fit and you've eaten well, and I can't say that I've treated myself great over the years, but a certain amount of fitness, but yeah, I mean, it's not hard to stay fairly fit. I think about at my age, and I think about my grandfather or my uncle or my dad or generations before me. By the time they hit this age, there was no conversation about playing soccer or riding a bike or anything. I still occasionally hit the gym. I still occasionally get out there and do some minor running or things, and I do a fair amount of walking and hiking, and yeah, I mean, I still have a good amount of confidence. And all right, sorry, today, let's hope today is a rare show. I don't think we're going to try to do this every day in 2020. We're at 42 minutes. I still have a good 10 stories to get to, and I feel like we are just hanging out. But I guess that is really what the pit stop has become. It's and why 2 weeks is a long time to go without, because it's about hanging out and BSing and just being part of the show. So I thank you guys for being part of the show and keeping the conversation going. Beating Strava, yeah. So anybody trying to get out there, Jim Cheel brings up Strava. Hey, it's New Year's resolution time. If there was ever a day to make a pitch for fitness, if there was ever a day for me to try to get myself and you to be more fit and alert and live longer and all that, it's right now. It's that beginning of the year. So I'm going to say, if you've not tried out Strava, and I don't care if you walk, ride a bike, run, Strava is a really cool app that you can chart your progress, and then you can actually use yourself to motivate you to get better. And if you haven't done anything of the sort, if you've never even if it's walking, go walk a mile on Strava, come home and look at your little map, and take a day off and go do that same mile the next day and see if you didn't do it a little bit faster, or see if you didn't want to go a little bit further. But it's funny how those map apps, Strava, I use a Garmin GPS when I ride. I have a Garmin watch even that does it. So, yeah, get out there and shed those pounds. I always say, I mean, I'm not going to say that if you're big, you can't have quick reaction. I'm never going to make that comment. I think anybody, that's the beauty of racing, is that anybody can do it. Some of the best have been even, heavy set people who never paid attention to physical. But for me, I will tell you this. When I am fit, my brain seems to be more alert, and my hand-eye coordination tends to be stronger and better. So if you want to improve your sim racing, a little fitness routine might go just a long way as well. David Payne, so true. So true. If you go to the gym right now, it is packed. Everybody on their New Year's resolutions, thinking life has changed because a new year is upon us. And the reality is it comes from within. You could do a New Year's resolution at any time, any day of the year. But if you do have a gym membership, you absolutely know that right now it is packed there. So there you go. Yeah, John, I believe it does help. I really do believe that it helps. And fitness helps me be alert. Being alert helps me be quick, be fast. Being alert is part of racing. So, there you go. It's just an arbitrary point. I agree, Izzy. I've always thought New Year's resolutions. I mean, I understand it, though. I understand it having a moment in time so easy to identify with. So if you did follow through on a New Year's resolution and someone ever said, hey, when did you start getting fit? And you're like, oh, I remember exactly. It was January 1st, 2020. Because it's such an easy calendar date to remember. Talk about it's hard for me to remember my girlfriend's birthday, right? Or our anniversary, and you get in trouble for it throughout your entire life trying to remember those things or missing them and being in the doghouse. It's really easy to remember 2020, January 1st, 2020. So I do understand it. However, I think that if one wants to get motivated, it's kind of pathetic to wait. If I didn't make it, so am I supposed to wait 350 days now? We're on the 6th. Am I supposed to wait 349 days? 359 days until I start my next resolution? Hell no. You start it whenever you're ready to go. So, yes, but resolutions are wonderful, aren't they, Ola? I mean, we're not knocking down that. As a main thing. Simpit diet. Oh, very funny. Oh, the LED project's I had told you I ordered a 3D printer just to upgrade the LED project. All right. Formula One eSport holds its first China championship. So they went and held a very regional, and look at the competitors, bunch of Chinese guys running on the same type of equipment, same Fanatic wheelbase and all of these things. You guys jumped on that. That could have been just an example. You don't need any more than that. That could have just been in theory, right? Devin Booth says he's quitting smoking this year, and it's effing happening. So anyway, F1 eSport, they did a China-specific regional. Regional eSport is going to be a big deal this year. Just so you're going to see more of this. China Championship. I think I have another article here. Speedruns, an incredible e-racing experience for eSport enthusiasts, takes off next Saturday. Where's this? Sri Lanka. So again, we're having more and more regional competition. Some of them are going to pay some very big monies. And you think about somebody like a Jack Keatley. We'll use Jack Keatley or a Mitchie Hoyer as an example. These eSport pros, these ringers, one of the questions when we were interviewing Jack, I asked him, are you going to have to become the guy who's willing to hop on a jet and go after all these various different eSport competitions? And the answer is yes. That is going to be the job of an eSport ringer, making a living. That's what the regular eSport gamers have been doing for years. They travel the world, going to competitions all over, winning whatever tournament it is that's paying enough money to justify having gone there. All right? Izzy, I have a 3D printer people are telling me I cannot print a wheel. I can print a sandwich plate, but not a wheel. I have a friend who used to build wheels for Ray Hall IndyCar racing, and he does CAD drawing for a living now as an engineer. He's not in Indy anymore. And he has taken on the challenge, and we are going to try to draw up, design a DD formula wheel, and print the entire thing, and then we'll see if it holds up. And if it breaks, we're going to have to make improvements, add ribs, add thickness, add reinforcement of some sort of something. That is the goal of 2020. We're going to do some small projects before that, but that's why I bought the big printer. I purposely bought a printer good for 350 by 350 because the rim I want might be a little over 300, and I want to do it as a one piece. I don't really want to do it as there's anybody who knows Thingiverse, if you have a 3D printer and you want something that's already drawn because you don't feel like drawing it yourself or you don't know how, well, then you go to Thingiverse and you type it in, and hopefully they've made it. So I looked up steering wheels, and I found a formula rim, like a Thrustmaster F formula copy, but it was done with like 10 pieces, and it's like, that's not how I want it to be. IMSA DLC news. Tyler, you did miss it, but I'll let you know what it was. Grid has the entire IMSA grid for 2 different classes for Daytona. So that is now part of the IMSA DLC for Grid, Codemasters Grid. But anyway, so that is my goal. We will move on. I hope that gets here. If it comes in today, we're going to go live on Twitch and build the 3D printer. And then, honestly, as soon as the 3D printer, I think we're going to leave the Twitch camera. Just when it's printing, I think the camera will be just on it on Twitch. Like, and you guys can try to figure out what we're printing or something. I don't buy followers. I don't pay for that. I don't. Never have, never will. It's not the way I want to be famous. Yeah, everybody. Yep, SketchUp. I'm going to have to learn some tricks for sure. Grunel. And David, that is exactly what we're going to find out. That is exactly what we're going to find out. And since my buddy's drawing it up, I don't know. If it holds up, maybe he'll sell the plans. Maybe he'll give them away. I don't know. I'm not going to put them on Thingiverse. I might make them available to the patron members. But I don't think we're going to make them public unless my buddy gives me permission to. Yeah, I downloaded SketchUp, or it had an online interface, and I played with it yesterday a little bit. Right now, my buddy's willing to take up everything, so I already have drawings of the... You know, this Twitch streaming is starting to take an effect on YouTube as I sit here acting like we're not on any kind of a timeline, like we have all day, like we have no agenda whatsoever. This is supposed to be a news show, but whatever. Yeah, I've heard great things about Rhino 3D. I read up on it. It's just that it's a little bit pricey. So here's my LED project, and funny thing, this is like a what's that? Breakthrough Duo. You know, the breath mint thing. I can't remember the name of that, but this is one of those breath mint boxes to hold the little Arduino board, a cheesy little plastic sheathing to hide the wires, and then my completely bare LED strip. The reason I bought the 3D printer, funny enough, was just to put this in a little plastic enclosure. I didn't like the way it was just open. And I'm like, what the hell? I will buy a 3D printer to fix that. And then once that was being researched, it was like, well, if I buy this one, I could build something bigger. No, it's not Tic Tac. It's not Mentos. Not Altoids. Come on, it's the round box. Altoids doesn't go round. They're rectangle. Tic Tacs is rectangle. Mentos come in a little tube. This is Breakthrough with the unicorn. Come on, you guys know it. Copenhagen, no. The Sim Contender Autodesk products are terrible. Okay. Breath Savers. I think that's it, Tom Jones. Skull. Tom Jones, I think you're right. You win the first Simpit 3D. Oh, or is it Icebreakers? Oh, now we have a controversy. I'll have to watch my video. Icebreakers? Here, we're going to watch the video. Oh, is it not on this? Oh, it's not on this computer. We can't watch the video. All right. You win. Both you win. Who did Icebreakers? Mark and Tom both just won. Just won a 3D printed Simpit logo as soon as I figure out how to make it. Email me your address and I'll send it to you. Shaun, SHAUN at thesimpit.com. All right, car rally. Double F1 champion Alonso drove the first stage on his tippy toes. Took it really easy. Well, this is a multiple day event. I read another article that told me that Alonso, in fact, got completely stuck for hours being in the dirt there in Dakar. But someone asked me recently who my favorite real-life driver was, and I always say it's Boris Said. Boris Said is my favorite driver. Why? Well, because Boris Said has made a career of driving just about every discipline in racing that he could possibly touch. And I love that. I mean, I love racing across the board. I'd love to do Dakar. I would love to do the Baja. I would love to race an Indy car, a Formula car, a NASCAR, a go-kart, a lawnmower, a racing couch and wreckfest. I don't care. I love racing, and everything is different, and it's got its little every discipline has its own magic that for me is really fun to find. And yes, you can just drive any car, sure, but like when we did the V8 supercar over the holidays, it had a really unique handling characteristic, and I can't even say that I got a total hold on it. Izzy, yes, you probably can, Izzy. We're going to see what we can do and how long it takes to print things before I make too many promises. But I love running multiple disciplines. So my hat's off to Alonso. You know, late in your career when you're still a big name, but you necessarily can't pull a Formula One ride, hey, why not dabble? Why not run the Indy 500? Why not run Alonso Dakar? I wouldn't be surprised. Call me crazy. I wouldn't even be surprised if we saw Alonso run in a NASCAR once just to be able to do it. It sure seems. Did we have a super chat? Oh, look at that. Did I miss it? I didn't see it. Tom Jones, super chat, 5 USD. You'll take yours in blue. Tom, you've already won one. You don't have to super chat your way in. You already got one. All right, what else? GT Sports' next update arrives January 9th, so we are only 3 days away from the next update. I didn't even know there was another update. Super chat donation by Tom Jones for 5. Tom, you absolutely. I need to order some blue PLA. So you mentioned blue. Right now I only ordered black. I figured, before I go crazy and order all these colors, let me just get everything up and running. Alonso can't hold a candle against Sebastian Loeb. In what way, shape, or form do you mean that, Pelican? Pink? I don't know. I would have to somebody would have to super chat $25 to get one in pink, because I can't imagine I'm going to need pink ever again, and then I'd have a $20 roll of plastic sitting here for no reason. If someone is dying for a pink one, yes, send me $25 and I will send you a pink Simpit logo for sure. Sebastian is the greatest rally driver ever. Oh, I don't debate that. And even so when I tell you that Boris Said is my favorite driver, I don't think I would call Boris Said the greatest driver in any discipline. I don't think he ever did. I'm sure he's won a champion. Has Boris Said even won a championship? I'm not sure that he has. Can you super twat 25 sterling for Shaun to wear a wig? I don't think I can even get a wig for $25 without it being like a Halloween wig. If you guys want to donate a whole bunch of money and I were to get a proper toupee or wig, sure, we could try that. We could try that for 2020. I'll wear hair. But they're really expensive. I mean, I haven't officially looked into it. It's not one problem I have. I do have a problem with the lack of hair. I don't have a problem with the lack of having a lack of hair. Yeah, Boris said is my hero because of his hair. Super twat. 3D printed wig. 2020 is going to be great, you guys. I promise. We're having a good time. Gran Turismo Sport comes to GTpedia. So you now have 174 pages with a free 174-page update to incorporate all of the facts and stats of GT Sport. So you want to know, there is an official GTpedia, an encyclopedia. The update is free to everyone who owns a copy of GTpedia. If you don't own it, now is the time to buy. Regularly priced at $15, now on sale for just $10 from the GT Planet store. So they have done a giant update to their, by Jordan Greer and Andrew Evans. Do I like Tony Stewart? You know, I have to think about that. Yes, I like Tony Stewart. I have no reason to dislike Tony Stewart. However, Tony Stewart might not be the Mother Teresa on earth. I don't know if he needs any praising from someone like me, but I don't have any issue with Tony Stewart. But I don't know. I mean, who knows? I don't know Tony Stewart, to be fair. But he's done some things that you got to kind of wonder about. And he's also an awesome driver in his day. And he's now one of those people who's kind of making sure racing continues on. I mean, Tony Stewart owns tracks, runs series. He's an influential, owns teams. He's an influential person in the future of racing at this point. And so, yes, I like Tony Stewart. Yeah, I mean, that's a cool thing. I mean, Tony Stewart didn't really play that kiss the world's ass political side of being a race car driver, and I always kind of liked that part of Tony Stewart, to be honest with you. But, you know, he's done some things. I don't know. That's not a fair question. I'm not going to answer that one. I do know that there are a couple of drivers who I don't like. I'm not a huge fan of nepotism. I mean, you know, I'm not a wealthy person. So in general, I kind of take issue with wealth because I don't have it. So you can call it jealousy. That's fine. I don't care. So in general, people who just kind of like just come from massive amounts of money, have been able to buy their way in, or people whose names are so big that they just get an automated path. We were talking on Twitch, and I mentioned that, and Darren was there that day. We were guests of the Sim Factory, and we were on top of Richard Childress's hauler watching racing at Volusia, and we were watching Austin Dillon run late models. And here he is with all the resources of Richard Childress racing at Volusia, and half the guys he is racing against, you know, pulled their car there in a trailer that's a beater that in a truck that they probably had to drive to work on Monday. And it just so unfair. And life's not fair, I know. I mean, what do I want? Utopia? Yeah, I do. But it just, you know, so yeah, when it comes to drivers that I dislike, usually, generally speaking, it's the privileged racing people that I don't like more than anybody else out. So, there you go. There's my answer to that one. I don't know if we officially congratulated Adam Blocker on winning in the Lionheart Championship, Lionheart IndyCar Series. Adam Blocker was the most dominating guy in the season all year long. Almost any race, he was the one. For Utopia, you can get pills these days. Anyway, congratulations to him. I also want to congratulate my buddy John Hill. John Hill won the Safest Driver Award for the 2019 season at Lionheart. One of the biggest, toughest championships out there, and we are a sponsor of Lionheart Racing. That's why we talk about him often. But congratulations to Adam Blocker on winning that. Congratulations to John Hill on winning the Safest Driver Award. What else? Driving Italia, they're kind of big. They're running an Assetto Corsa Competitzione GT Series Season 2 2020. It's all in Italian, so I can't tell you much about it, but I found this via Driving Italia Net. If you're looking for an ACC league, I know they're running everything from beginner, suitable for beginners and first-time pilots. So if you've been a big fan of Assetto Corsa Competizione, this could be an opportunity for you to race a good environment for it. Beginner all the way up. John Cheel, yes, it has always been a privileged sport on some level, but there was also always this grassroots level that I think is getting smaller and smaller. You think of the Dan Gurney types, and I'm pretty sure Dan Gurney came from money, but he was a real pioneer, doing it on his own, not doing it with like the funding of a Ferrari. Well, actually, that's not true either. He had that kind of funding later as well. But no, I think any sport that is really expensive is always going to be about privilege. And you're always going to have your haves and the have-nots. But it's unfortunate. I mean, okay, so I'm not wealthy. I don't come from a wealthy family. My mom did not have a lot of money when I was a child. So when I'm talking about playing soccer, using that as an example, I had decent Adidas cleats. They're good. They're okay. But, I mean, some of the friends that I played with were in, Patrick's Screw-On. So anybody who played soccer in the 80s, Patrick was like the company when it came to soccer boots. And they all had, really nice screw-on cleats. And they're much better cleats than what I used. Did it matter? No. It kind of was like the Logitech versus a direct drive wheel argument. So even though they were the haves in the world of soccer, and, maybe they were in really nice sweatpants and I was in like Walmart sweat, so to speak, or Kmart or whatever, but it didn't affect my ability to compete on the same level with them at all. And when you look at other sports, and there are a lot of them, that's not the case. I mean, racing is an expensive sport. There's no way to get around that. It'll never be cheap or free. Yeah, exactly, Contender. And that was the thing, on wet or on a proper field, because I played in Northern California where it was much better grass than down here in Southern California. Down here, you could throw your screw-ons away. The fields are way too hard. But up there, the Patricks, those guys, yeah, it was amazing cleats back then. I never played in the new era where a soccer boot was actually made with cushioning. Like in my day, you wouldn't play in a pair of Nikes. Nikes, I think they actually made a pair, but they're just so god-awful you wouldn't use them. But now I look at the cleats the guys are wearing, and it's like, wow, they actually have padding and cushioning, and it's like, what a difference. So anyway, all right, wow, today we are just all over the place. Simulators, this is something else. 2020 will be a big simulator year, full motion. This is the new image of the Alfa Romeo simulator. Obviously, you can see the Formula One cockpit up on the big, giant, look at that, that is a 3D printer. If you think about this and you look at this, that is just a 3D printer. It's a giant 3D printer with a simulator on top. Chris Shepard, thank you for that. I appreciate that very much. Copa Mondial, yep, absolutely. But those are still old school. That's still an old school boot, isn't it? Or have they modernized that one? What else? More Sims? Nope. Grand Prix Legends, the updated demo with the latest news arrives. I was watching a video. I don't think it was this one here. I was actually watching a different video of one of these cars in action. And it was this. It was the Lotus. And it was just like the view in the cockpit just took me back to Grand Prix Legends. That's what this is all about. And yeah, so this is the 2020 update. Cars, 55 Mercedes, 65 Lotus 33, 66 Repco Brabham, Mod Can-Am. They have the Lola Can-Am car, one of my all-time. The 66 Lola. I think that's what we saw when I first hit play, wasn't it? That's a Ferrari now. Where's that Lola? Man, I love this Lola. Oh, there it was. This just takes me back to Speed Racer days as a child. That car just reminds me of the kind of cars they drew for Speed Racer. No, this is for... What is this actually for? No, this is community work. And I know I was talking to somebody just the other day who plays Grand Prix Legend. Yeah, this is the original. This is the original with an updated version of a handful of cars, new cars added, and some new tracks like the Monza 10K, Road America 1971, Sebring 67, and Zandvoort 67. It's for GTR 2? Where did I miss that? I'm not seeing that. Is in the title here? It doesn't say it anywhere. Updated demo. Okay, so GP2? GTR 2? Sorry. Free mod for GTR 2. It's a demo of their new mod. GPL, Michael's saying. I don't even have a link here. This is why I've kind of stopped. I don't really like covering things from Driving Italia because sometimes their stories and links don't get us anywhere. Demo for GPL. You know, here's how we're going to do it. We're going to go to YouTube. And what do we have here? They have no description. GPL 2020 demo download. It's for GPL. Yeah, this is for GPL, you guys. GPL is a racing simulation for the PC that was published in 1998. Oh my god, 22 years ago, you guys. Blah, blah, blah. GPL demo. Thanks to the GPL community. Here, let me stop that music. Hold on. Here we go. Thanks to the GPL community who has kept this ancient software alive in the last two... Like I said, I talked to somebody just the other day who was talking about still playing GPL, and it blew my mind that people are still out there doing it. Thanks to GPL community has kept the ancient... By still driving it offline against the AI and online against humans, by extending it with new mods, simulating new racing series, 55, 65, 66, 67, extra, blah, 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 by creating over 600 tracks and by creating many tools and utilities. We are at GPL World, by the way, just so you can know and get a perspective on this. Look at this, the Mercedes mod. That's very cool. Yeah, so maybe talk about dusting off an old title. Wow. All right, here's GPL. I don't even know if I have my disc anymore. I don't know if I have. It would be in storage. It's certainly not here. I wonder what it costs to get a copy of GPL if you try to buy one. So there you go. What else? Simulators. Formula One season of 2020 will be that as simulators. They have images. Here we are. This is like a Cruden type design. This is the Dallara, F1 Dallara simulator. Here's a drive that, was this from WTF? Is that what that logo is? What's it like to drive an official simulator? Looks like he's at the Red Bull sim. There's another picture of this giant Cruden one. I've driven these types of simulators, by the way. I've driven one of these. Not this exact one, but one like it. What's my favorite experience? I'll take a standard seat mover over this, to be honest with you. Remember these guys? Remember the Salad Bowl sim? Feel 3 virtual reality motion simulator. Don't forget about them. This could be your next simulator, you guys. But this is them and their control boards, so they're still working on production and getting things up to speed. I know they're one of those Kickstart things. I've not heard of anybody who told me they backed them, so I don't. But I have seen reports of people gotten their Feel VR pedals at this point. So what was thought to potentially be vaporware is long awaited, but finally coming through. So congratulations to that. I did speak to the guys at Feel VR, and it looks like we will eventually be getting one of those pedal sets for evaluation here on the show as well. Now I just have a couple rigs to show you and some things to tell you about. We'll bring it to a day. Here we are. Just finished his RB13 inspired cockpit with form-fitted foam seat. That's something I might do on an upcoming DIY, is do a form-fitting seat. It's actually not that expensive, not that hard to do, and it's the kind of thing that would actually allow you to really easily do a DIY. Anyway, this is what he did on his, a form-fitting seat. That's what a lot of people do in real-life race cars, and why not do it here in our sims? Nice-looking cabinet style, I like to call those. Yeah, nice-looking rig there. Here's another nice-looking rig. Total Deathmobile. That is an OG Deathmobile with the... you can see he's got the angle on the pedals. That's pretty cool. Nice paint job on it. Nice racing seat. Not a bad. This is his first rig holiday project. I would say came out pretty good. Who's this posted by? Uni X Geek. Well done, Uni X Geek. Very, very nice. Yeah, you can use the Instapack, but there's one that actually causes a chemical reaction, and then it will kind of harden. Now, it's still styrofoamy, so they're still somewhat fragile, but it means that it will maintain that exact shape every single time, forever. So, and then what you cover it in would affect how long it really lasted. And what else? And then here, I always am talking, what does it take? It doesn't take anything. It doesn't take anything to sim racing. But this one posted by Camel73. First rig, let the addiction begin. Yes, we want our New Year's resolutions. Usually people think of things that we're going to quit for 2020. Why not focus on the half-full aspect of it? Let the addiction begin. The addiction being sim racing. And all I'm going to say to you, Camel, is nice-looking setup for a portable setup there with the Playseat Challenger seat. What I would do, get those pedals, man, scoot that as close to that TV as you can get it. I don't know if it's worthy to move that cabinet out of your way, and it looks like it might be a little high. That might be a little why he's pushed back a little bit, but not, yeah. Oh, first comment even, get closer to that TV, man. I agree. You are far back from that TV. It's a big TV for watching TV, not a big TV for sim racing. That is going to do it for the rigs. What do we have to talk about beyond sim racing or beyond the news? And the first thing would be that I've been promising, and we are now getting ready for the Simpit Dallara F3 Racing Series. This racing series is going to start up this Sunday. So as of today, I believe iRacing is going to switch to Road America for the week. iRacing F3 series, the SimuCube series, will be racing at 8 tracks to close out this season. We're going to follow their schedule. We're going to be racing on Sundays. Practices will open at 1. Qualifying in the race will begin at 2. This is going to be a league series on iRacing. I have not started it yet. I will do that today, so do not try to apply prior to this evening. But starting tonight, we are going to take applications for, and you will be able to register. I will tell you about it on Wednesday. I will tell you about it on Friday. But Sunday will be our first race at 2 o'clock. Paradoxy is now following us on Twitch as well. Thank you for that. But this Sunday at 2 o'clock will be Road America, followed by Road Atlanta, Circuit de Spa, Phillip Island, Interlagos, Brands Hatch, Silverstone. Oh, my favorite, Silverstone. What am I moving around? I'm moving something I don't want to move around. Let me move my image instead. And Watkins Glen to finish off the year. So starting up this Sunday, January the 12th, Road America, we're going to run 150% of the length of race that iRacing is using for their series. So whatever they do, we're going to do it 150% more. As far as race length, it will be open setups, and everybody is invited to race with us. Again, we will make sure all of our patron guys get into the series, and then we'll let other people join. But all that will start tonight. Tonight, you can all start applying for the series. and we'll have things sorted out by Friday for our racing season beginning on Sunday. I'll be streaming all the races here on the Simpit. I will be racing in the series myself. Very much looking forward to racing. We've done some practice races back in November, and it was a lot of fun. This car has the new damage, the new tire, and even just a real fun car. Seen some really fast guys adapting to this car. It's one of those cars that'll make you a better sim racer, I do believe. So please join us for that. Starting tonight, just look for, under the league section on iRacing, look for Simpit Dallara F3 Series. And again, racing starts Sunday. Beyond that, Daytona 24 is in the air. A lot of people have been watching the Roar or gearing up for the big event coming up soon. The iRacing, I don't have a date on it, but it is coming as well. The Simpit Racing team, we are going to be running a Porsche and a Corvette Daytona prototype. We started practice this weekend. We'll be practicing Wednesday night, Saturday, and Sundays moving forward. And if you're part of the group, if you're part of the patron team and you haven't been in the endurance team chat, it is time to get in there and get involved, because we'll be picking teams and figuring out how many cars we're going to be running. So all that, January 18th, thank you very much. So yeah, not a lot of time. There's only 12 days between now and the 18th. It's going to take a little bit of work. So if you want to be part of that team, be sure to get in the chat, let people know, and we'll get things going for 2020 endurance racing, which we're going to take pretty casually this season. We'll probably do most of the races, a lot of the races, but I don't think we're going to get super duper serious. We're just going to do it for fun and get out there and do endurance racing, which is always a blast. But that is going to do it for this one. We have now officially kicked 2020 off. Pit stops are back in order. The Simpit back in order. Everything returning to normal. Other than it's 2020, we're going to do a lot more DIYs. We're going to do a lot more racing, and we're going to have a lot of fun. That's going to do it for today. Thank you once again. Thank you so much for being part of the pit crew and making it fun to hang out and just talk about sim racing each and every day. This is the Simpit. I'm Shaun Cole, and I'll see you on the track.